All right, Cedric, let's check back in with you. How are we looking out there?
All right, well, we've got some chilly temperatures, especially for areas north of the I-70 corridor where we have these numbers in the 30s and 40s. We've got temperatures in the 50s and heading for the 60s down across areas south of I-70. But you notice, yeah, there's a little bit more of a chill in the air. It also helps to feel a little cooler just because it's gloomy outside. We have lots of clouds streaming in from southwest to northeast. A little precipitation showing up on radar, but the air is still fairly dry. Although, as we go into this afternoon, as this front retreats back to the north as a warm front, we're going to try to add in a little bit more moisture into the atmosphere, and that will hopefully help to squeeze out a little more precipitation in the form of a little light valley rain and a little light mountain snow. Should not amount to much this first little wave of moisture this afternoon and evening, but the main event, yeah, that's all to the south and west. That arrives as we go into your Wednesday. That one will add a little bit more moisture and warmer air to the situation. So that means that, yeah, we even have the chance by tomorrow afternoon from places from Cache Valley down towards Box Elder, Tooele counties, over towards portions of the Wasatch Front. Can't rule out a rumble of thunder. Not expecting any severe weather or anything like that. But yeah, we could have the potential of maybe some gusty winds up to 30, 40 miles per hour. And can't rule out a little small hail showing up one of those rumbles of thunder that may try to pop up tomorrow afternoon. Let me show you what I mean here on Futurecast. You'll see, again, this afternoon, some very light valley rain, mountain snow trying to get going, primarily along and north of the I-80 corridor. That's going to be the best chance of seeing that activity. Not going to amount to much. But tomorrow morning, you may wake up, may not be any precipitation falling at 5, 6, 7 o'clock in the morning, but as we get towards 8, 9, 10 o'clock in the morning, I expect valley rain to fill in here along the I-15 corridor, and in the mountains, I expect that to start falling as more meaningful snow, and that will continue off and on throughout the afternoon. We may see a break around midday, and then look at the afternoon activity light up on the map, and you can see some of these darker areas of red where we could have even some isolated rumbles of thunder developing, but in the mountains, those could be some pockets of heavier snow. That will continue into your Wednesday night, especially across the northern mountains, before pivoting back south and east across the state as we go throughout your Thursday. So your Wednesday and Thursday look to be two fairly unsettled days where you're going to want to keep the rain gear close by, and if you're in the mountains, be aware you're likely going to see some periods of moderate to heavy snow at times as that system moves through. This pushes away from the area by Friday. We dry things out heading into the weekend, and our next storm system with this open storm gate now knocks on the door as we head towards the beginning of next week. All right, so this first system targeting primarily the mountains. That's where we could pick up about 8 to 15 inches of snow for the upper Cottonwoods. The rest of the northern mountains, I think about 6 to 12 should do it on average. 6 to 12 for places like the Tusher Range and over towards Brine Head, but the other southern mountains probably more like 2 to 6 inches. 5 to 10 inches for the Wasatch Plateau and for places like the Book Cliffs. So in these areas, we do have winter weather advisories in effect for potential travel difficulties that will be occurring here for us tomorrow, especially, and that could extend into your Thursday as well. So prepare for that if you are driving over some of these canyon passes or in some of these mountain routes. As far as the valley goes, about 1/4 to 1/2 inch of liquid precipitation. Now, once we get past this storm system, next week looks to be even wetter than average across most of the western half of the country, including Utah, and we're going to trend those temperatures down even more to normal, if not below average. So the snow map across the west really starts to fill in at least the potential for accumulating snow across the west as we head towards next week. In fact, the potential of significant mountain snow exists as we get towards next week, and even starting to potentially fill in some lower elevation snow totals by the time we get towards the middle and end of next week. So overall, the pattern change is now underway, and we're going to kind of slowly trend towards a colder and wetter situation. St. George, upper 60s on your Tuesday. Showers become likely on your Wednesday and the Thursday. And then we get a break with drier conditions for the weekend before that next storm arrives on Monday. Scattered showers, light shower activity for us this afternoon and evening across northern Utah. Rain becomes likely again for your Wednesday and to Thursday before we dry things out for the weekend before a more active pattern returns next week. Matt?